Today we're diving into one of science fiction's most, let's call it intimate questions. What if you could actually breed with an alien? Now, before you click away, thinking this is some weird fan fiction discussion, stick with me because this topic has been explored in everything from B-movie classics to serious academic papers, and the answers might surprise you. So this whole conversation got kicked off by a recent YouTube video asking, what if you made it with an alien? And honestly, it's a question that's been haunting sci-fi since the genre began. The video suggests that any alien encounter would require artificial insemination because, well, our parts might not exactly be compatible. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just internet speculation. Hollywood has been obsessed with this concept for decades. Let's start with the obvious example, the Species franchise. Now, if you haven't seen the 1995 original, you're missing out on some peak 90s sci-fi horror. The entire premise revolves around Sil, a human-alien hybrid created when scientists receive alien DNA instructions and decide, hey, let's mix this with human DNA and see what happens. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well. Sil becomes this deadly seductress whose entire mission is to find a human male and reproduce, potentially creating offspring that could destroy Earth. It's what makes Species fascinating from a storytelling perspective is that it takes the concept seriously for about half the runtime, then fully commits to the B-movie madness. The film spawned 3 sequels, each exploring different aspects of alien-human hybridization, from Mars missions gone wrong to cloning experiments. It's like a masterclass in how many ways can we explore this one weird concept. But Species isn't alone. Splice from 2009 took a more grounded, scientific approach to the concept. This French-Canadian film follows a scientist couple who secretly raise a genetic hybrid that grows from infant to adult in weeks, eventually becoming aggressive. And, well, let's just say the ending gets really uncomfortable when the creature changes sex and attacks its creators. It's like if someone took a serious genetic engineering premise and pushed it to its most disturbing logical conclusion. Then you've got Prodigy, 1998, which explores the alien abduction angle. A woman is impregnated by aliens experimenting on humans. The film focuses on the psychological horror of unwanted pregnancy with an unknown entity, which honestly hits different when you think about it as body horror rather than sci-fi adventure. The Alien franchise itself has always been about reproduction, but in a parasitic, terrifying way. When Ridley Scot made the original Alien, he wasn't thinking about romantic alien encounters. He was thinking about violation and unwanted pregnancy as the ultimate horror. The new Alien. Romulus continues this tradition with The Offspring, a hideous human-engineer xenomorph hybrid that represents the nightmarish end result of mixing human and alien DNA. Here's where reality crashes the party. According to actual scientists, human-alien reproduction is basically impossible. Experts point out that successful hybridization would require identical amino acid sequences, matching chromosome numbers, and genes in exactly the same locations. Even if you somehow created a hybrid, it would most likely be sterile, like mules or lizards. But wait, there's more science. Real interspecies breeding does happen in nature, but it's limited to closely related species. We've successfully created interspecies pregnancies between animals like horses and donkeys or different species of cats. However, these require artificial intervention and often result in sterile offspring. Interestingly, there's actual research on yeast species that shows how interspecies hybrids can sometimes regain fertility through genome duplication. So theoretically, if alien-human hybrids were possible, they might need to undergo some serious genetic reshuffling to become fertile. Now here's where things get absolutely bonkers. Dr. Young-Hae Chi from Oxford University has written an entire book claiming that aliens are already breeding with humans to create climate change-resistant hybrids. According to Chi, there are 4 types of aliens: small ones, tall ones, scaly ones with snake eyes, and insect-like ones, who apparently run the show. He believes these hybrids are walking among us, indistinguishable from regular humans, preparing for Earth's climate disasters. Look, I respect academic freedom, but when an Oxford lecturer starts talking about invisible alien breeding programs, you've got to wonder if someone's been watching too much X-Files. No discussion of alien breeding is complete without mentioning Star Trek, which has basically made interspecies romance a cornerstone of the franchise. Spock, the most famous hybrid in all of science fiction, comes from a Vulcan father and human mother. The series hand-waves the biological impossibility by suggesting all humanoid species were seeded by ancient progenitors, giving them compatible genetics. Star Trek episodes regularly feature sterile alien species looking for compatible mates, radiation-induced infertility, and various breeding disasters. It's like the writer's room had a checklist of every possible reproductive scenario, and decided to hit them all. So what do I think about all this? As a storytelling device, alien-human reproduction works because it taps into fundamental human anxieties about identity, parenthood, and what makes us human. Whether it's the body horror of Species, the scientific ethics of Splice, or the existential questions in Arrival, where the real breeding happens between human minds and alien concepts, these stories use reproduction as a metaphor for cultural evolution and survival. Scientifically, it's about as likely as finding a unicorn riding a dragon. The biological barriers are just too massive. But that's not really the point, is it? These stories aren't really about alien reproduction. They're about us. They're about our fears of the other, our desire for connection, and our anxiety about the future of our species. The best alien reproduction stories, like the original Species or Splice, understand that the horror isn't in the act itself. It's in the consequences. They ask, what would we sacrifice for survival? How far would we go to preserve our species? And maybe most importantly, what would we become in the process? Whether you're watching a schlocky B-movie about alien seductresses or a thoughtful sci-fi drama about genetic engineering, remember that these stories are mirrors reflecting our own humanity back at us. They might be asking, what if you could breed with an alien? But they're really asking, what does it mean to be human? And honestly, that's a question worth exploring, even if the premise makes you a little uncomfortable. What do you think? Have I missed any great alien reproduction stories? Are you team science says impossible? Or team, but what if the aliens have really good genetic technology? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into sci-fi's weirdest questions.